Another week, so it's time to make some NFL picks. It's week 12, 2020 NFL season. That's crazy, man. Just absolute crazy. And last week was not the best of weeks. It was only 7-7 picking winners straight up, 8-6 against the spread. Like, typically, if my record against the spread is better than picking the straight up winners, I've had a doo-doo week, and I certainly did have a doo-doo week. So for the season, in terms of picking winners straight up, I'm 110-51, and versus the spread, I'm 90-72. Again, not great, not legendary by any means, but sometimes maybe if you had taken some of my picks, you could have maybe possibly made yourself some money. So there's that. It's not total bum street stuff, at least. But my apologies to the Lions fans and Cowboys fans out there, because I certainly put the Jeff jinx on your teams on Thanksgiving Day, didn't I? Good God, that was really, really bad. And I don't know which loss was more embarrassing for these two traditional Thanksgiving hosts. It also begs the question of, at some point in time, should the Thanksgiving games actually go to teams that deserve it? Now, certainly, the Cowboys, you would argue, are always going to bring the ratings, so, that's what we're going to use as a metric for deserving it. But the Lions have been a traditional Thanksgiving team for even longer, and they're just, they're bad. Like, why do we have to see this team on Thanksgiving Day every year? Like, tradition is one thing, but sometimes traditions are made to be broken and changed. This is probably a tradition we could get rid of. I'm just saying, it was really bad. And the fact that as of the time of this recording that Matt Patricia still has a job with the Detroit Lions is just astoundingly stupid to me. And, for the Cowboys, that seat's got to be incredibly nuclear hot for Mike McCarthy right now. Ooh, boy. Was I wrong about him? So were a lot of other people too. Seeing some of the things at the tail end of the run in Green Bay, I thought it was more about, it's just his time had come. He needed to get away for a little while and reevaluate things. Yeah, he just sucks. He's just really bad. And I understand it was a difficult week for them with the passing of their strength and conditioning coach, Marcus Paul, in that unexpected, tragic way. But, man, they went out there and just laid an egg. So, my apologies. I showed thanks to so many of you Lions and Cowboys fans that happen to watch this by putting the old Jeff jinx on your team. So, my apologies for that, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and talk about our picks for the rest of the weekend's activities and shenanigans. You got the early Sunday games. You got the Raiders traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Raiders are favored by 3 here. I will take the Falcons plus the 3 because, you know what, I just didn't spend that much time really thinking about the matchup this week on any of them. I just picked. I just went random. Because last week I felt like I meant a little more time in analyzing matchups, and it sucked. I sucked. So at least this week, if I suck, I can say, well, I sucked because I didn't care and I didn't analyze. I went off of gut instinct and feelings. But then I'll probably have a really good week. But I'm already 0-2, so what the hell does that matter? The Chargers travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Looks like the Chargers will be without some key pieces potentially. I will take the Bills minus the 5. You got the Giants traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. And man, that Giants by 6 spread looks like one you absolutely want to smash, doesn't it? As you're saying, the Bengals are going to be lost without Burrow. They've lost the face of the franchise for this season. They just won't be the same on offense, da-da-da-da-da. But then you get sometimes those crazy situations where a team responds and rallies and plays tougher. And let's be clear here. When you're facing a Giants team with a Daniel Jones that is prone to turn the ball over, like it could be a risky, dangerous proposition to get too confident behind him because he can have a big turnover or two that really turns the momentum of the game. I think the Giants will win the game, but I like the Bengals to cover the 6-point spread. You've got the Titans traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. I will take the Colts minus the 3. They smashed them a couple weeks ago on Thursday night. I see no reason why they can't beat them here. Carolina is going to apparently have Teddy Bridgewater back as they travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Vikings are favored by 3.5. I like the Vikings to win here, but Carolina to cover the 3.5. Maybe more of a late field goal wins it for the Vikings type of situation. Give me Arizona minus the 1 over New England. Really, frankly, surprised that the Cardinals are only 1-point favorites. I'm not sure if that's representative of the money showing too much confidence in the Patriots or not enough confidence in the Cardinals. But I like the Cardinals here. You got the Dolphins traveling to New York to take on the Jets. I will take Miami minus the 7 because the Jets are the Jets and they still stink. But at some point in time, they got to be due for a win. And I was still kind of stunned that they benched Tua last week. Like, once you go to those rookies, like especially if the game is within reach, you got to play them and you got to let them figure it out. I think that's really dumb. Just my opinion. So it would absolutely not surprise me if somehow, with the Jets getting Sam Darnold back, Gase is going to maybe want his revenge game on the Dolphins before he's shown the door by the Jets at the end of the year. But the Jets still stink. You got Cleveland traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. I'll take Cleveland minus the 6. The late Sunday games, you've got New Orleans traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. I'll take the Saints minus the 6. You've got San Francisco traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. I like the Rams to win here, but that 6.5-point spread is a little risky for me just because it's an NFC West divisional matchup. You know, sometimes these teams tend to play each other kind of closely. I like the 49ers to cover the 6.5 here. You know, the marquee kind of late Sunday matchup is going to be the Chiefs traveling to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Bucs. You get Mahomes versus Brady one last time in the regular season. How exciting is that? Maybe some people are pointing to this potentially being a Super Bowl preview. It could be. Who knows? I like the Chiefs to win here, though, minus the 3. The Sunday night game. Oh, God. And you thought that Monday night game with Minnesota was bad. You thought that Monday night game against the Rams was bad. Oh, the football gods hate each and every single one of you because the Bears weren't flexed out of this spot. The Bears are sitting there and they're playing on Sunday night in prime time, and it's against their daddy, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. The question here should be not if Green Bay is going to win, but by how many points and how convincingly is it going to be? This 8.5-point spread, the only caution I will have with that is you've had a couple of matchups with these teams the past couple of years where it's been relatively close. So, and sometimes, again, you'll get there with the divisional matchups, and maybe there'll be a little bit of fool's gold because Trubisky might actually get a fluky, lucky thing to happen early on in the game before reality sets in that he's an absolute turd Ferguson and sucks. But the Bears still can't run the ball. Their offensive line still stinks. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. They still stink. Their passing game stinks. Their head coach stinks. Their play caller, now offensive coordinator, Bill Lazor, stinks. I mean, their history against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers stinks. They got to hope, like Aaron Rodgers, gets explosive diarrhea to the point that he can't play because every time he drops back to throw, he risks sharding himself in order to have a chance here. That ain't happening. So you got to smash Green Bay all day in this. Green Bay minus the 8.5. I mean, what possible reason could you have to believe the Bears would actually win this game at this point? I guess that's why they play the game, to borrow from drunken Chris Berman. And it's technically true, but, I mean, let's be realistic here. Come on now. And then you got the Monday night matchup. You got Seattle traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. I certainly understand why the Seahawks are 5-point favorites, but by God, this is exactly the type of game that you got to worry about because Seattle has a way of making these primetime games interesting, don't they? And this is exactly the type of game that you look at. It's on the road against an inferior opponent, and you worry about whether that Seahawks defense is going to show up or if Russ is going to have a couple of turnovers and they're going to make this thing way more competitive than it actually is. And I kind of look at it like this, like the Eagles, this kind of feels like a must-win game for them. They got to keep pace with Washington in that crappy NFC least division. Like, they're at home. Carson Wentz is facing a lot of criticism. Doug Peterson also rightfully is getting a lot of criticism. This feels like a really signature, key, pivotal, important game in the season for the Philadelphia Eagles. And as much as I want to say, well, the Seahawks will still overcome that and still respond, I just look at that and that spread really worries me. I'm surprised so much money is being laid on Seattle because, again, they have a tendency to play these prime-type games incredibly close to the vest. They can be kind of chaotic, and this is probably the way that a Philadelphia Eagles team could beat this Seattle Seahawks team. So just to be a little different and a little crazier, I'm actually going to go with Philadelphia to win plus the 5. Do I have that much confidence that that's going to happen? Oh, hell no. But like I said, I also know that based off of their recent history, the Seahawks can be a bit scatterbrained in some of these spots. So it certainly wouldn't surprise me that something like that happened. But nonetheless, You know, especially with what happened on Thanksgiving. I'm already 0-2, picking straight up and against the spread, so who gives a crap? I just went with it this week and just picked some games. We'll see how I do overall. You guys, again, can feel free. Go against me in the comments section. Give me your weekly picks and tell me how much I suck. For now, that's it. I'm out of here. See you later.